organ donations and practically everything else. Their building is located on a beautiful complex in the northern part of Madrid in the Ministry of Health buildings. While I was there, I really thought I was in the holy land of organ donations. My host provided me with much more materials than I ever expected. During my conversations and my research, I started to understand clearly why 22 other countries would want to incorporate what we're calling the Spanish model. The ONT have many goals, and inspiring every country in South America, as well as some in the Orient, is goals that are included. My personal thoughts on why this Spanish model was so successful is because their country accepted organ and tissue donation as a cure, and they made the issue a priority. And what can be more important than saving a life? And that was their logic. Attitude and perception played a big part. People are very compassionate about the issue, and they are extremely determined to save lives. They want to maximize the potential, whatever it takes to save a life through transplantation. They send out research teams to investigate it. Their means to their success also lies more than just developing what Canadians are starting to learn, what we're calling the opt-out system. It's more than that. It's also having specialized teams at every hospital so that they can deal with the families at a very delicate situation during the time of the donation. That's also played a big part. Other means include non-heart beating donations, as well as brain dead. Here in Canada, we've been just using brain dead, and they pretty well pioneered it. They've almost perfected the system there, and it's almost true that any country that's going to incorporate non-heart beating donation will increase the rate of donation by 20 to 30%. And I know there was a conference earlier this year in Vancouver where many people across the country attended. But our question remains the same. What are we waiting for? Their rate of donations keeps climbing every year. And the latest statistic was that over 90% of the people that were rating received. And yet they were not happy. They're shooting for 100%. And they do not get complacent. Wherever they have to do their research to where they see any shortcomings, they do their research. My next stop was London, whose government rejected the idea of the Spanish model. Although it was supported by the British Medical Association and many other groups and prominent politicians, I wanted to go there to collect information on why it was rejected, and I did get a lot of support. I think that'll be also useful for our country because I think we're going to run through similar paths, and it's useful to see exactly why they reacted the way they did. Then on my way to Paris, I got sick and spent nearly a month in a hospital, and I was very fortunate to have help from my Paris contact to get me in that hospital. Basically, I was at death's door, as Angelo mentioned. They said I needed a new liver, and I was alone in a very far away country. I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank everyone at the Curia Canadese Tandem Multimedia Nova. I'm thanking you guys, not just for sponsoring the European tour. It goes further than that. I believe that you sincerely believe in what we're trying to do, and also that we're going to succeed. You know, and it goes even further than that. During my darkest hours in Paris, and I had many. You were there with me. Although thousands of miles apart, you made sure that everything that could be possibly done was being done. It's like you were holding my hand throughout the whole stay there, and you even made arrangements to send my brother so he can bring me back home. And I did end up coming back to Toronto, and I did go back to the Toronto hospital, and I was near my 10th anniversary of my first transplant, which was quite interesting. So again, I needed a new liver, and possibly, as my doctor, Les Lilly, said, there was possibly days left. I am still in a grateful shock after receiving my gift on my birthday, my 50th birthday. I prayed and grieved for that family that donated this organ, but it's made me more passionate and determined than ever to make some positive changes in our system and to continue in our path. I also want to state that the Toronto Hospital has a first-rate transplant unit, post-transplant unit. Like, they really looked at after everybody after they received the transplant. They are near perfect, from the surgeons to the doctors, to the nurses, the administrators, even the cleaners did a hell of a job. And they all deserve acclamations for their hard work. And I also heard about how good they are at their post-transplantation from people in Europe. Finally, this is a plea to our Prime Minister Martin, and all the premiers across Canada. Please make organ and tissue donation a priority in our country. What could be more important than saving lives? Thank you.
Thank you, George. And I think that the fact that only 10 days ago you were going through the second transplant and you are here, I think that we don't have to take advantage of your availability. I want to acknowledge the presence here of the leader of Ontario NDP, Howard Hampton, and he has been, he himself and his organization, and of course Peter Cormos all the way, very helpful in in this endeavor, and I want to say thank you to both of you. So I don't believe that we should be here any longer because you need some rest, but I know that you have a lot of information, you collect a lot of information you want to go through, and you want to share them with the media and with politicians, and you want to put them in a kind of a proposal trying to help everybody to understand that something that shouldn't be even explained, saving lives, should be explained. I think it's hard to understand, but I'm sure that you will, and thank you very much for coming here today to give us your thoughts and your inspiration. Thank you.
George, could you just explain to me why presumed consent is so important?
Why presumed consent is so important? Well, it eliminates a lot of shortcomings, like in our present system. You're already registered. It's really that simplistic, and the opt-out part is if you're not happy being registered, you have the freedom to take your name off. But as I mentioned, it's not the only thing that in the Spanish model that they rely on. When we say maximize the potential, that was one part of maximizing the potential. So in its simplicity, it has that much more effect in increasing the rate.
Can I add just a little thing here, and you can give more information about this? We talk about giving, but not too many people talk about taking. So it seems that there is a difference between Austria and Spain. For example, in Austria, there is this this law has been approved, but there is a little thing there. Everybody can back out and sign a